Hello everyone, No Respawns here. Hope you're having a grand week and all of that jazz. So very excited, we now have access to the Fallout 76 seasons and the changes to the challenges system. So this is going to be quite cool. I've actually already gotten one of the cooler items, which is quite exciting. I will show you how this works proper. That doesn't actually do anything. It just looks cool. It just drops bullets everywhere. It's very good fun. I love it. I just love gadgets and weird nonsense like that. So in my last video I did, when we had the article drop with all the rewards, go through everything that we had. What I'm going to do now, because I've had a chance to sit down for about 2 hours, it only took me 2 hours, and get to about level, I think, 6.5. I just wanted to go over the challenges, how they were, how I felt, and just kind of how viable this is to actually, you know, replace the old challenge system. So I really like it, as a spoiler. So let me just show you. So firstly, let's all giggle at the fact that I have 420 atoms. LOL, the drug number. The problem with that is I just don't want to spend it now because it won't make me giggle anymore. So I see I've done basically all bar one of the dailies, and I've done technically 4 actually. I've technically done this one, but I want to get onto that because there's a little bit of a beneficial bug, but I'll do that in a sec. So the dailies, pretty straightforward. So chew bubblegum, complete an event, do 5 of these, kill 10 scorch, level up, scrap junk to produce aluminium. Really straightforward, very, very easy. The hardest one technically for me was just the aluminium one, just I had to quickly Google where to get aluminium. Probably the genuinely hard one is going to be this one, purely because you might start the day being right at the start of a level and you just can't be bothered to just, you know, go kill ghouls in White Spring for 30 minutes. But other than that, these are completely doable. A couple of people mentioned on Twitter about this, and I agree. I probably won't be doing the Nuclear Winter one very often because I don't really like PvP very much. But considering you get 2,000 score here, and the idea is you don't literally have to do every single daily and every single weekly to actually hit our level 100, that's pretty grand. Yeah, so that's pretty good. 2,000 there. And then the weekly one, you get 7,500, and there's a repeatable, which is quite cool. So the repeatable is just 10,000 XP, and then you get 100 score, which I think is pretty neat. I don't know if that requirement goes up. I don't believe it will, but it might. But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So you got a weekend, you can just sit there. I mean, what? One ghoul in White Spring goes around 80 to 100 and something XP, depending on the type. So, and that's not with any bonuses, so you can do this one reasonably quickly. So yeah, on the subject of, there's a bit of a bug. So I've technically done that one because this one and this one happened the same way. So it says 5 out of 4. 5 out of 4? No, it says 5 out of 5, David. 5 out of 5 assorted robots. When I hit 3 out of 5, I got the reward, which is a bit weird. Same with this one, and already with this one as well. Just as a side, me finishing this will not get me double the reward because I tried it with the other one. So just as a note that you don't actually need to do all of these, but I imagine that'll be patched really soon. But what are the daily and the weekly ones? So again, these ones you get 1,000 each, and they're pretty simple. This one was actually quite fun because I had to go to areas where there were robots and kill them, and I had to think, okay, where are robots? Incidentally, I went to Robco Research outside of Vault 76 for the Liberators, and then for the last few I needed, I went to this sort of place here because there's just loads of low-level, like, Mr. Gutsies, and there's a low-level sentry bot there as well. So very, very simple. This one, build stuff. Just aside with this one, you build stuff, and if you want to build and place, you have to scrap it. You can't just build and store. So just as an FYI there, they did catch that one. Just make sure you have the constructor perk, and you should be fine. And then this one, you can do it easier, which means I only built 13 level 1 baseball bats and then scrapped them. And that did it for me. So yeah, that one was really, really simple to do. This one I'll do on the weekend. Killed 10 legendary enemies. I'm probably just I farm White Spring anyway, so that one will be pretty straightforward. And there's loads of events. I'm actually doing Uranium Fever. I'll do that half anyway, so that's pretty good. Possibly the hardest one might be this one, purely through general aversion to wanting a group. However, so I'm on a private server right now, but earlier I was on a public server, and so they've added the new public grouping system, and that was just popping off all the time. You saw a little notification for it, and it looks like people were just grouping up in public groups that anyone could join and then just doing the events. So realistically, even if you don't have a mic and don't want to talk to anyone, which I certainly don't like talking to people other than you guys, that will not be an easy one to do. I'm going to do that on the weekend. This one was a bit weird because I think you have to get them from scrap, not from So I didn't get any wood, that one there, that didn't go up from collecting wood outside, and this one didn't go up from collecting fertilizer outside. So this one does need to be stuff that you physically pick up. But to be fair, I only need to do one more, so like, I'll probably just find stuff with aluminium or scrap copper, or collect fertilizer, because they're fertilizer bags anyway. But just as an FYI, I went and collected like 200 wood before I realised it wasn't going up, so... but anyway, I've already technically done it anyway, but I will do it just because it'll bother me if I don't finish it. So yeah, I really like this. They're simple. Like I said, these took me about 2 hours to do. And yeah, no, pretty cool. And you don't have to do everything. So one thing, you see in the corner there, it says score rank 6. And I'm at 500. It says 500 out of 1,125. So basically, each subsequent level is 25 points higher than the last. Which, and if my maths is correct, each 10 levels will mean that you get 2,250 extra from 10 levels before. So level 10 will be 1,250, which means to get to level 100, the last level, it'll either be just one below. But basically, the last level will be 2,500. No, 3,500, right? Yeah, because level 40 will be 2,000 rank score, level 80 will be 3,000 score, and level 90 will be... Oh no, 3,250, roughly, yeah, or it might be 3,225, depends what the cut date is. But basically, the latter levels will be quite expensive. I think with this one, if you just did weeklies for the 10 weeks, so it's running up until mid-September, you'd basically get up to about level 60-something. So if you didn't bother doing any dailies whatsoever. So just as an FYI, I'm going to always do the weeklies because they're still really simple to do. Fuck it, the weeklies are easier to do than the old dailies. And there's no reason why you wouldn't really, unless really didn't have any time. So in a second, I'm just going to show you the actual map that we have. But I'm going to lead that into a little bit of a point. So in the comments of my last video, and those of you who have been following the discourse, one of the little... And I think I'm going to slightly call bullshit on it, actually. One of the points people who have been making about this is because they've removed the old challenge system, you don't get as many free atoms anymore. So basically, you used to get, I think it was 50 per daily or something like that. And then the weeklies would give you a certain amount. I never did it. But I think someone worked out for the 10 weeks, you're effectively missing out at about like over 10k atoms or something. And obviously, if you've looked through the new map that they've added, you get 1,500 atoms free. But obviously, that means, your net loss is, 7k or something. I don't know what the actual level is. But people and a lot of people really moaning and say, oh, they've gotten rid of free atoms. So two things. One, you still get them from all of this stuff. So I've done most of the survival ones, but combat I've barely done any. So you still get them here like this. And the world as well. But the other thing is, and I think people just didn't think, but this new map gives you the things that you would have bought the atoms for anyway. So that's why I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, this here would cost 300 atoms. Like, the actual value of stuff in here is quite high. So I actually worked it out. I mean, not exactly. I took an estimate. So what I did is I went through every single reward that had a kind of an almost like guaranteed price, with the exception of all the consumables. So I didn't add in these bits. I actually didn't add in these ones. Lunch boxes, all the stuff like that. But I added all the weapon skins, the armor skins, the camp stuff, things like that. To give you an idea, a small camp item would be 300. This flying saucer would be 500. All of the skins would be bunched together in one pack of about 1,000, roughly. And then outfits, like this stuff here, would probably be 800, right? And I think that's a fair, roughly what they would be. So I went through, put them in an Excel sheet, did an auto sum, and it came to 15k. That's not including the consumables and everything else. And you also get money and extra atoms on top anyway, and perk cards. So obviously, the response to that would be, but I don't want all these things, because agreeably, I don't like a lot of the armor skins. But still, I think it's a little bit, I'm going to call performatively negative to say that you're effectively completely losing out on all this free stuff, because all that they're doing is now you just get it from here instead of having to pay atoms for it. That's my take. Also, the old challenge system was awful, and I don't believe for a second that half the people moaning about it actually regularly did those, because they were just stupid. I refuse to believe that, fight a Wendigo in a clown costume, revive someone underwater. You know, they were so silly. It was, ugh, no, I don't believe you. Right, anyway, so let's quickly have a go and look at this properly, minus rant. So I've done up here, so I've got that, which actually I think is just a, yeah, it's just an icon. I've got that, I actually already scrapped it, but effectively this is literally just an item that appears in your junk, and it gives you 20 of a certain, like about 6 different kinds of resources. You can't accidentally scrap this. This is similar to like a weapon mod where you have to manually scrap it. So if you want to look at it, you can't drop these as well, because it will destroy them. So just as an FYI, you can't give these to anyone else. These can only, all of these consumable items can only be redeemed on the character that you earned them on, but all of this stuff, like this and this, is account wide, so just as an FYI. Same with the armor suits as well. I didn't get the lunchbox. I could probably do the 500 points. I just can't. Well, 625. I just can't be bothered because I want to do this video. But yeah, so the rod's good, and you can actually go in and look, and it tells you how these things work. I'm going to show you this in a sec. It's very cool, and I've got the sync as well. So overall, I really like this system. I'm curious if I get to September and like here or something where I'll have to end up spending loads of money to get to the end, but we will see. We will see. I like it, and I think it's a clever way to get me hooked. I also like the fact you can actually still look around these boards, and there's kind of like, it's pretty. I like it. I'm already excited for the next one, which might be Halloween themed considering it'll be close to October. Right, so let's show you, because you've all been ignoring me and wanting to see this. So, right, the ammo thing. Very exciting. So you can press that and the bullets come out, which just looks so cool. But how it actually works is you put stuff in here. So obviously the exchange rate isn't great. It is, you know, as it says here, you get 2,000 max points, and you basically give 30 per group of rounds. You can't trade in fusion cores or the other ones, plasma cores, and you can't get them back, just as an FY, but you can get all other kinds of ammunition. And no ultrasight stuff as well. And I've unlocked a few of them, and I didn't see it. I don't know if you might be able to actually sell them, but you definitely can't. I don't think you can, yeah. I think it's just no ultrasight or no fusion cores. Right, so as you can see, so it only shows the stuff that you have, which I quite like. So, for example, I get 50 points for giving in 15 points of 54. And you can just keep tapping it like that. You have to do it one at a time, but it'll remember your last thing. But pay attention, because if you like just there where I've done all the 54s, I've now sold a bit of 55. But, I mean, if you want to, you can just, you know, only carry the stuff you want to sell while you're doing this. So you get quite a lot. Now, the actual value of it is mixed in terms of what you buy. So, for example, you can sell stuff. The selling is quite generous. So you get 70 points for 5 of these missiles and all that jazz. You get quite a lot. But when you want to buy ammo, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So ballistic and energy ammo, I think, is reasonably worth it for what you get. So it's 350 points, which, as you see, I just got loads just then quite easily. You get 150 caliber. So basically, if I go and sell again, if I add points and go to, say, lower power ones. So yeah, like say if I'm selling these, I'd need to sell, like what? So I get 20 points for 18, 350. Let's see if we can do the maths. That'll be a lot. No, each 10 would be 200 points, which would be 180. And then just half again extra, so it would be kind of like 300-ish ammo would get you a stack of 50 caliber. That's not bad. I'm bad at maths, but not that bad at maths. So let's just go to here. So yeah, it's pretty good. Energy's pretty good as well, because it's, you know, like 300 points to 30 plasma cartridges. If you're just getting rid of all the shotgun shells and all the other ammo that you pick up a lot of, chances are you'll be able to get a few hundred, which will be just enough, I think, to kind of keep you maintained. It's deliberately not OP, which I quite like, but some of the other stuff does get a little bit, I think, need to up the numbers. I mean, like, literally 300 points for just 40mm grenades is just, I mean, what the hell? That's just not even worth it. And same with, like, some of the others. Yeah, like, the arrows are really weird. Like, 10 arrows for 250. 2 cannonballs. But, that's about it. But, I imagine some of these will be edited around a little bit. But, yeah, a cool little piece of kit, that. Yeah, Xing it is really weird, though. It tends to get a little bit confused. But, I imagine that'll be tweaked. And I also got the the new sink as well. I've got the old sink, which I still prefer, but if you don't have the skin, because you have to get that one from the Atom Store, you get this new sink, and it gives you dirty water, which is pretty cool. Got a nice little animation as well. I would just, as an FYI, it's still quicker to collect dirty water from a stream, but it looks nice, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, overall, I love this new system. I'm curious whether I actually managed to keep up. I'm terribly lazy at dailies recently. I still haven't done all my rep. I'm so far behind, actually. But those aren't times, so it's okay. But no, I like this system a lot. It's cool. I like the kind of consistent reward system, which is quite nice. So if you do this every day, chances are you're going to get at least one thing every day, which I think is pretty neat. So, you know, you're constantly getting positive reinforcement, which is good because that's what us addicts need. So yes, very excited, and overall just love this new system. But yes, until the next video, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the new dailies and challenges and get all the funky stuff. And I'll speak to you lovely people soon. You take care.